What can I say about Tom Clancy's The Division? There has been quite a lot of hype and controversy surrounding this game since its first initial announcement. From the inevitable comparisons to Bungie's Destiny, which was released back in 2014, to a graphics downgrade and misleading content trailers. On March 8th, 2016, Tom Clancy's The Division finally released. And frankly, I don't know what I expected. On one hand, its gunplay is great. The snowdrop engine is beautiful to look at, and it takes many aspects that Destiny got wrong and corrects them. But on the other, without people to play with, The Division can end up a hollow experience. You play as an agent of a secret government militia known as the Division. These are people who are only called upon when other government agencies fail. On Black Friday, after a variant of the smallpox virus known as green poison is released into the population, New York is quarantined, and various factions start to emerge within as the situation becomes more and more dire, such as the Cleaners, the Rikers, and the LMB. As an agent of the Division, you are New York's last stand against the virus, factions, sometimes even your fellow agents. You start off in Brooklyn with a rather disappointing character creator, having no options to actually customize your character model, but rather select from presets and then change their hair, skin tone, scars, tattoos, or glasses and piercings. After completing the tutorial and entering the first safe house, you are introduced to Fei Lao, a fellow Division agent fighting alongside you to take back the city from the virus and the factions. The game then proceeds to teach about how the encounters and side missions work. After completing it, you and Faye head towards the extraction point to go to Manhattan. Your initial transport is blown up, and Faye is injured. But honestly, I didn't really care about what happened to her. And that's the problem with the entire game. The story does nothing to make you care about its characters, or even the people you're trying to protect. Civilians are either terrified of you, insult you, or just incubators for XP boosts and some gear, which usually involves the cosmetics. In fact, there isn't a single memorable character in the story. Once you set up the base of operations, you are tasked with retrieving people who are key to each wing. Jessica Candle of the Medic Wing, Paul Rhodes of the Tech Wing, and Roy Benitez of the Security Wing. Throughout the game, you will earn supplies to upgrade each wing. Upgrades unlock new skills, perks, and talents, of which you can only equip one until you start to level up. But each of these characters have little to no actual backstory to make me care about the struggles, and eventually, I just started to ignore them. The story seems to chug along, and then finally limps across the finish line with a disappointing boss battle and a forgettable villain. Seriously, I had no idea who the bad guy was until 2 missions before the final fight. And that's the biggest problem with the game's story. It lacks interest. It lacks backstory. And the supposed backstory is locked behind AR holograms called Echoes, in which you activate and yellow ghosts pop up and say some dialogue detailing what happened there before. It would have been more impactful to actually see these events play out in real time, experience them firsthand rather than just as recordings. But because the story is lackluster doesn't mean the game is bad. The gameplay is excellent. From tactically plotting out your attack to properly flanking the enemies with friends is a blast. And the gunplay feels great. Easily this game's best moments are when playing with friends. The game also has a lot to offer in customization. From the mods to your guns, the gear and skills you equip will determine what kind of player you'll be. Will you sacrifice DPS to skill damage for more health so you can be the tank of the group, absorbing damage as your friends attack from the side? Or will you steer towards more sidearm only build, Western style? It's entirely in your hands. But besides customization, there is also a crafting system in the game. After completing various encounters and side missions, you will obtain blueprints for gear, weapons, and materials, some of which can only be crafted. Don't like a particular perk? You can recalibrate or re-roll for a different perk that might better suit your gameplay style. All in all, gameplay is king in this game. However, it is not without its faults. Because the cover system and roll are tied to the same button, you find yourself constantly rolling away, trying to survive being flanked or being set on fire, only to have your guys stick to cover and get you killed. And I don't know about you, but it feels like some of the mods are absolutely useless in the game. For example, why would I ever equip a suppressor if the entire mob will know where I am anyway? It just feels tacked on as a solution to quote-unquote stealth gameplay. Now, moving on to the PvP section of the game. I have mixed feelings about the Dark Zone. I was so looking forward to this mode. You can get great loot. Don't get me wrong, you can. There are even some exotics that only drop in the Dark Zone, like for example the infamous Midas, which my friend has too. And the tense moments between your team and another group while waiting for extraction is thrilling. But there are major problems within the meta. Number one, there are no side missions, which means the only way to level up your Dark Zone rank, which is separate from your main rank, is to kill mobs of enemies over and over and over again, and eventually starts to feel monotonous and even makes the gameplay feel boring and like a chore to play. Number two, leveling down. That's right. If you keep dying, you will eventually start to level down, and if you die enough times, you can lose an hour or more of progress. And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff for the Dark Zone, like weapons for the vendors and particular weapon crates, can't even be unlocked or used unless you are a particular dark rank, the lowest of which I've seen is 30, which takes a while to get to. 3, and perhaps the worst of all, the rogue system. Easily the most interesting aspect I was the most excited for. Ruined. This was supposed to play on the player's greed, where you play it safe, constantly grind out day to day, and hopefully get the weapon you want or the perk you want. Or will you take the risk to reap the rewards, stealing from other players and then surviving the bounty for great rewards? But the problem is there is no benefit to going rogue at all. If you survive the bounty on you, you get 2,000 Dark Zone credits, 5,000 if you're on a manhunt. And for reference, you can earn 5,000 within half an hour of just killing enemies. Easy. But if you die, your rank can go down 2 to 3 levels from dying once. I've had friends who've gotten so close to 50 just to be knocked down back to 45 because one asshole went in front of them and made them rogue so they can kill them. And that is a big problem in the game right now. The fact that you can go rogue by attacking people by damage has brought in loads of people trolling, constantly getting in your fire, hopping into your grenades or your sticky bombs, hoping that the damage dealt to them is enough for you and your entire group to turn rogue, so they can kill you with no repercussions. They need to balance it badly. And I hope they do, because me and my friends, we enjoy going into the Dark Zone. We enjoy getting good loot, but we want to go rogue, but there's no point. I hope they fix it soon. At the end of the day, The Division is a fun game, but with a lackluster story, disappointing endgame content, and unless you have friends, there's no real reason to pick it up.
Active echo beacon detected.